Let's face it, modern motorcycles might be packed with tech, touchscreens, traction control, and fuel injection. But here's the raw, brutal truth no one dares to say out loud. They've lost their soul. Yes, you heard that right. See, back in the 1982nd, Japan wasn't just building motorcycles, they were building legends. They weren't trying to impress shareholders or check boxes on emission charts. They were chasing perfection, power, precision, performance that left jaws dropped and knees scraped. These bikes weren't meant to fit in. They were meant to dominate. They were mechanical beasts with one purpose: to destroy the competition, to make the rider feel like a god on two wheels, and to strike fear into the hearts of lesser machines. And guess what? They still do. Decades later, these machines from the 82nd are still faster, meaner, and more alive than many of today's factory-fresh bikes. Not because of fancy features, but because of one powerful advantage modern bikes simply don't have: raw, unapologetic character. You're about to witness 7 Japanese motorcycles from the 1982nd that didn't just survive the test of time, they crushed it. These aren't just relics, they're weapons. And when you see what they can still do today, you'll start to question everything you thought you knew about modern engineering. So buckle in. What you're about to hear is not nostalgia, it's undeniable truth. 1. Yamaha RD500LC, the legal street missile. Let's begin with a 2-stroke monster that should have been illegal for public roads. The Yamaha RD500LC. Most modern sport bikes? They're restricted, softened, polished. But the RD500LC? It was a grenade with wheels. This wasn't a toy. It borrowed its engine directly from Yamaha's MotoGP race program, a 499cc V4 2-stroke that revved like a banshee and delivered an unpredictable, explosive power band. At 88 horsepower and just 180 kilogram dry weight, this thing could annihilate modern 600cc bikes before they even hit peak torque. Here's the brutal part. Newer bikes may look aggressive, but the RD500LC feels aggressive. It shakes, it snarls, and it reminds you that power should never come with a seat heater and a Bluetooth app. Even today, riders who try one often describe it the same way. It scared the hell out of me, and I loved every second of it. This isn't a bike for the faint-hearted. This is for those who want raw, violent, unfiltered power, something the modern world keeps trying to bury. 2. Kawasaki GPZ900R, the bike that changed everything. Before the GPZ900R, motorcycles were either fast or stable, never both. Then Kawasaki broke the matrix. This wasn't just a fast bike in 1984, it was the first true ninja. And yes, it was faster than anything on the road. A 908cc DOHC inline-4 engine, liquid-cooled, pumping out 115 horsepower. Top speed? Over 150 miles per hour. Sounds normal today? Here's the twist. Modern bikes still struggle to capture its balance of weight, handling, and brute acceleration without feeling like overcomplicated computers. The GPZ900R had surgical handling but was still savage on the straights. It didn't ask for permission. It demanded respect. No electronic nannies, no throttle mapping, just you versus the asphalt. This is the bike Tom Cruise rode in Top Gun, but its fame didn't come from Hollywood. It came from riders who realized it wasn't a motorcycle, it was a revolution. And guess what? In rider circles today, it still turns heads harder than a 2025 ZX6R ever could. 3. Suzuki GSXR 750, 1985, the first superbike for the street. Let's destroy a myth right now. Modern superbikes didn't start in the 2002nd. They started with this, the 1985 GSXR 750. This bike was built when Suzuki made one bold decision. What if we took a race bike, added lights, and sold it to regular people? What followed was a 750cc air oil cooled inline-4, 100 horsepower, and a dry weight under 180 kilogram. That's right, lighter than many 2025 600cc sport bikes. And this was 1985. The GSXR 750 wasn't just about speed. It felt like a scalpel, razor-sharp cornering, throttle precision, and an engine that never wanted to quit. You weren't sitting on a bike, you were part of the machine. Today's bikes? They come with cornering ABS and quick shifters. But the Gixxer gave you one thing they never will: complete control. No filters, no limits. If you want a true rider's bike, one that punishes weakness and rewards skill, this 1985 monster still beats most modern track toys in experience, thrill, and soul. 4. Honda VFR 750R RC30, the gentleman's assassin. Don't let its elegant bodywork fool you. The RC30 isn't a bike. It's a cold-blooded assassin in a tuxedo. Released in 1987, this wasn't just Honda showing off. This was their entry ticket into world superbike domination. A 748cc V4 with gear-driven cams, titanium connecting rods, and a red line of 12,500 revolutions per minute, all race-bred DNA. Even today, engineers admire its precision craftsmanship, often comparing its quality to surgical instruments. But here's the insane part. While modern bikes are built to sell, the RC30 was built to win races, and Honda didn't care about profits. It handles like it reads your mind. It brakes with zero drama. And when it screams down the road, you don't hear noise, you hear engineering perfection. Today's bikes may be faster in a straight line, but none deliver the confidence and connection the RC30 gives its rider. This is not just an icon. It's a benchmark modern bikes still haven't surpassed. 5. Yamaha FZR 750R001. The racer they weren't supposed to sell. Imagine if Yamaha took a race bike, gave it mirrors and turn signals just to satisfy the law, and called it a road bike. That's exactly what they did with the 001. Built for homologation to compete in superbike racing, the OW01 is a purebred animal and one they barely wanted to release to the public. This wasn't built in some mass production line. It was hand-assembled, part by part, with obsessive precision. Its 749cc inline-4 engine had X-up valve technology, way ahead of its time. And with minor tweaks, it would easily outperform modern-day leader bikes on the track thanks to its handling and gearing. Riders today, they talk about balance, agility, and feedback, like it's a myth. The OW01 gave it naturally, without electronics. You didn't ride this bike, you became it. The reason it destroys modern bikes? Because it doesn't just deliver performance. It delivers pure race DNA in its rawest form, a feeling most newer riders will never experience. 6. Kawasaki Z1R, the original street brawler. Before hyper-naked bikes flooded the market, there was the Z1R. A true outlaw on wheels. Square, angry, unapologetic. This was the bike for the rider who didn't care about lean angles or MotoGP specs. They wanted one thing: dominance on the street. Its 1015cc inline-4 engine wasn't shy. It roared with attitude and delivered torque like a truck. And while today's street fighters look sharp, they're digitally softened versions of what the Z1R represented: rebellion. There was no slipper clutch, no wheelie control. If you couldn't handle it, it threw you off. But if you could tame it, you were riding something modern bikes will never replicate: a machine that roared with mechanical anger and masculine force. Z1R owners today don't restore them for nostalgia. They restore them because nothing built now dares to replicate its aggression. 7. Honda CB1100R, the forgotten superbike killer. Finally, the CB1100R. Most people forgot this one, and that's their mistake. Honda built this in limited numbers, from 1981 to 1983, to dominate endurance racing. It had an 1062cc engine, full fairing, race-tuned suspension, and top speeds over 140 miles per hour with no electronics at all. This wasn't a comfy cruiser, it was a high-speed predator. And while today's bikes rely on launch control and ride modes, the CB1100R simply relied on your courage. It made you feel like a racer even if you weren't one. That kind of psychological transformation? It's extinct in the modern market. It's not the numbers that make this bike better. It's the effect it has on you. When you ride one, you don't feel old. You feel dangerous again. So, now the question isn't if these 80-second Japanese bikes are still powerful. The question is, why are we pretending modern bikes have surpassed them? Because when you strip away the touchscreens, the rider modes, the corporate branding, what are you left with? A machine that's quieter, safer, and soulless. But these bikes? These 7 legends weren't built for comfort. They were built to terrify, thrill, and dominate. Even decades later, they're still making modern machines sweat. Now, here's where you come in. Which of these beasts would you ride if you had just one chance? Or maybe I missed a Japanese classic from the 82nd that you swear could destroy anything made today? Tell me in the comments, I read every one. Let's see who really knows their machines, and who's just writing plastic toys.